unheard message.
George. Good morning. Tuesday. I'll be at the studio tonight to record the Stranger Things episode 2, season 2, whatever the hell. I think we should call the episode Busy Daddies Being Whores, because we're only doing this for the listeners. Might also be called Busy Daddies, why the hell are we doing this? Or even Busy Daddies, do we have to? Strange indeed it is, this journey we're on, my friend, but the gods are angry because no children have died.
Busy daddies, busy daddies, busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies, busy daddies, busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies, busy daddies, busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies, busy daddies, busy daddies do sci-fi.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Wait.
Why?
Hold on. Let me check the clocks.
Still 8:58. That Doctor Who.
It's still 8:58.
That Doctor Who ephemera is a great addition to the studio.
Oh man.
God.
It's funny.
8:58 and
when
49 seconds.
When I leave this room, I do feel like I've aged an entire year. You know, every single time.
I bet. Do you still look at that clock for the time?
Every once in a while. But, you know, I do weird things, though. You know, I draw mostly on a digital monitor, not so much on paper anymore.
Yeah.
But when I erase on it, I still go and blow the shards away.
That's cool.
It's weird. It's weird, but...
That's science fiction, George.
It is science fiction.
Isn't it?
There's a time and a place where that would have been a long conceived idea. Eventually, at one point in the future, people will write on screens and send them to... They kind of missed those things. Like, if you look at Star Trek and everything, nobody was sending emails. It was all like a video monitor that was the size of a suitcase.
And I guess there was a head talking.
It was like a head talking. Like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I was in a flying machine watching on a small screen a movie called Young Frankenstein and realized that
wow, Mel Brooks classic.
That
yeah.
Mary Wollstonecraft Wolfstein who wrote Frankenstein?
No. Mary Shelley.
Wollstonecraft. There's a middle name in there.
No, it's not.
Yes.
It's just Mary Shelley.
I'm telling you.
Okay. All right, you tell me.
Listener, that's your first thing you can Google since we can't.
You may...
But I'm in a flying machine, George.
Okay.
And I realized that Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley,
okay,
I'm telling you,
yeah,
wrote the first science fiction, which is entirely boring.
It is entirely boring.
But it's a scientist trying to animate life.
Yeah.
So we get a fiction born of a scientific idea.
Certainly.
Right?
And that is, I believe...
And that's your damn writing pen, which is completely boring, but it's really cool that you blow
We've agreed upon, it's been agreed upon that is more than likely the first science fiction novel, Frankenstein.
Yes.
Or Postmodern Prometheus is the name of the book. Now, it is written by Mary Shelley.
You know the subtitle, and you don't know that it's Wollstonecraft.
No, because here's the deal. All right, it's not like Mary, whatever her middle name is, Shelley, is as well known as Edgar Allan Poe. If you look at every fucking copy of Frankenstein, it is written by Mary Shelley.
Listener,
Mary Shelley's
you are going to so enjoy watching George not know the middle name.
The one listener out there who happens to be related to Mary Shelley, yes, please call in.
Yes, Dave Wollstonecraft.
David
from Monrovia.
David Fragenmaschen Frankenstein Shelley. Please feel free to write us an email and tell us that Kevin is right and that I'm absolutely wrong. And that Mary Shelley... I do believe you that she's got a middle name.
I'm just telling you that I remember vaguely that it's a Wolfen with the Stunkton in it.
That'd be pretty appropriate, huh?
Trust me.
I almost said apropos.
Trust me.
But I'm not that douchey.
Yes.
Douche. Oh, man. Where are we?
Well,
It's Tuesday night.
yeah. It's podcasting night.
It's kind of cold outside, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And most of California's on fire.
Which is...
Pretty standard for a Tuesday night, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Cold and on fire. That sounds like... Is that the syphilis talking?
Cold and on
I'm
fire.
cold. I'm on fire.
It's the chlamydia. The
You
cold
know
and
who
on
it
fire.
sounds like? Well, we don't want to talk about him yet. But there's cold and on fire all over this episode.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
cold and on
I
fire.
know.
That was good. You know what? I couldn't even come up with a better segue if I tried.
Don't fuck this up.
I'm not gonna.
You're allowed.
I'm not gonna.
You're allowed to make a segue. We can spin back out.
Right. But you know what? Here, like,
come around.
we are. If you don't know who we are the Brothers Duffer Demodogging Stranger Fantasies. We come out here every now and then. BDDSF. We're at BDDSSci-fi.com, and we come out here every now and then.
Not to be confused with the diabetes.
Don't confuse it with the diabetes, please. How is that a thing? But anyway, not diabetes. That's medical condition, and it's serious.
Yeah, I thought you've had it. You thought you've had it once, right?
I had 7 cookies tonight. And
That's why you
cookies.
turned down ice cream?
That's why I turned
I
down
had 10
ice cream.
Hershey's Kisses, but I was ready for more.
You know what was nice is that when you texted me and said, hey, you doing ice cream these days? When I said no, it probably came across as like, hey, that's good, man. George is really watching his health. Or did you just assume he had clearly...
I honestly thought you
cake?
said no, but you would have eaten it if I'd brought it.
Absolutely.
So I said, I'm not bringing it. I don't think this guy knows what's good for him.
I would have absolutely eaten it if you brought it, yeah.
Hey, pass the seltzer.
I have little to no willpower. We got some delicious lime seltzer, courtesy of producer Vic. He
amazing mics, by the way.
Really likes the work we've been putting out lately, and so do you guys. We've been hearing from you, which is cool. So, Brothers Duffer Demodogging Stranger Fantasies,
which can only mean one thing.
Well, we mentioned demodogging, which is, I have to say, kind of a strange thing.
Well, the Demodoggins dial.
Strange
thing.
Oh boy. Where do we go from here?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I mean, they clicked on the picture, right? They must know the episode.
Yeah, probably.
The name of this episode, by the way, is...
I mean, I put a picture...
Because we have to.
Put a picture of Mary Shelley up there. So they'll have to
the riveting.
Really...
Oh, is this the Frankenstein episode? Loved reading that.
Oh, my God. Must be the postmodern Prometheus episode that
You know what
waiting
happens
for.
in Frankenstein?
Teaser.
No, child dies.
Yeah, child dies.
Yeah. Okay, just put that in your dome, listener.
Child dies.
Yeah.
Wife dies or fiance dies. Basically, he destroys,
brutalizes the peaceful countryside.
You know, one of my favorite quotes when it's related to
Fire bad.
Genius. No. Knowledge is knowing that Frankenstein is not the monster. Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein is the monster.
Is that from the book?
No. It's just a way of relating. Knowledge is, a lot of people say Frankenstein in relation to the monster. And it's not, it's the doctor. So knowledge is knowing that Frankenstein is not the monster. No, Frankenstein is not the monster. He's the doctor. But wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein, the doctor, is in fact the monster.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
That and your pipe and smoke.
That's cool.
There, Kevin.
I like it.
Not bad.
I like it. My opium pipe, because let's have a writing contest.
Right.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, that went really well.
Yeah, I'm going to write the story.
I'm going to write a story about a scientist
monster
who brings a dead man
with smoke
back to life. The smoke
with
and the wings
and
coming in, and then maybe it could be a sequel to a wildly popular hit from last summer.
Yeah.
So,
do we have to come out and say it?
I think we do.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be talking about Stranger Things 2. Stranger Things 2. tonight. Not season 2. They went decidedly 80s and just called it Stranger Things 2. This is a sequel to Stranger Things 1. And we are delivered back into the town of Hawkins, Indiana.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the world. The world is a small town that on some level I think we all know. You know, like we're all some level of familiar with like the type of town they're trying to project here. Maybe we grew up in that type of town. I found a lot of similarities. You know, the storefronts, the movie theaters, and certainly the characters. And that was the thing I think season 1 of Stranger Things, which again, like that was not on my radar at all, season 1 of Stranger Things. I didn't start watching it until it had already been on Netflix for a while.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I fell in love with these kids, and I fell in love with Chief Hopper, and it was really cool seeing Matthew Modine and Winona Ryder again.
And I watch it, and then we say this is science fiction, so we got to podcast it.
Right.
And it is, you know, if you think about that Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley reference we made earlier. And then so I want to watch season 2 because it's out.
Yeah.
And people are digging it. People are fucking bendering that shit.
And
and my mom
hyped
did like Stranger Things in a night, I think. Stranger Things 2.
Like Super Bowl commercial for Stranger Things 2. Internet loses its mind. Like it's playing to the theme of like Thriller, which is pretty dead on for the whole atmosphere that the show has. And everyone's gobbling it up. And like so it was remarkably different from the lead up to Stranger Things 1, which again like came out of nowhere. People just watched it, loved it. Stranger Things 2 was like, bring it on.
Now is it easy to say that the two different approaches from a let's go make a good show to we have a good show, let's make number 2, does that change it all right there? I mean that's like the first album's the best, man, and then is that
I think there are people who are immune to that, creators who are immune to that. And then I think that there are those who I think it's a spectrum. Like there are some who cater way too much to it. Like this is a pretty nerdy example for a sci-fi podcast. But if you look at like what DC Comics is doing right now in their movies, what they're doing is going back and correcting what all the fans said was wrong with the previous movie. So it's like
we've talked about.
Yeah, it's like Batman versus Superman. Superman's too dark. Well, in the next one, let's make him light and cheery. And guys like Christopher Nolan, who don't really give a shit and just make good movies, there was definitely like a little bit, I think, in season 2 of Stranger Things of them going like, "Hey, this worked. They liked this. Let's bring it back. And turn it up."
They must have.
Yeah.
The love letter to the '80s, sure,
of course. Well, you have.
So let's turn up the volume on the '80s, and it was loud to me. And I gotta ask, what is this without the 80s neurons firing in my mind as they get relit again?
Right.
If you have no frame of reference, does this do the same thing to you?
Well, it's worth mentioning also how completely saturated this, especially season 2, is in 80s references and nostalgia. Like they're going for like a subliminal thing. There's quick example is that they're all the kids are in the Ghostbusters uniform in one scene, and Lucas says he doesn't want to be Winston.
Yeah.
Because nobody, and I liked actually his reasoning. Like Winston's not a scientist. He doesn't show up till later. He's not funny.
Yeah.
And later on, Lucas says Armageddon in a very similar way to the way Winston in Ghostbusters says Armageddon in one scene. And that's a direct reference.
Yeah.
Like they did that completely intentionally. 95% of the people who saw that would have never registered with them. But that 5% that sees it then puts it on the internet. It's like, hey, look at this Easter egg. So they're like just little.
So that's fun for people, I guess.
Yeah, it's fun for people. Steve's got glasses on in the party, and he looks like Tom Cruise from Risky Business.
Well, because he'd be
like
doing that.
Right.
He'd be trying to play that look.
Yeah.
As a teenager, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought. It was cool to see the nuances of that time. Like there were some places that I haven't totally felt did it, but I saw closer places to what I saw as an 80s kid.
And I don't think they...
But I guess you have to watch stories to be able to say things like that. I don't think I'd look for a place to bring that nostalgia to me. It just did happen with this show. Ready Player One did not do that.
No.
And we asked the same question. What does someone who has no frame of reference to the 80s... What do you do with Ready Player One if you don't know what that list of references?
Well, there's a difference between Stranger Things...
Is what happens.
There's a difference between Stranger Things having things like people smoking indoors, cars that look like they're from the 80s, references to movies in the 80s, and then there's like Ready Player One, which essentially like smacks you in the face with a Michael Jackson glove.
Yeah,
and
now I think,
like,
yeah,
hey,
I like to,
remember us? Like, remember this?
Yeah, there was a point when the sheriff opens a bar door, takes a big hit, and like half blows it out, half blows it in, and I was going like there was a time when that didn't matter.
Yeah.
You didn't need to like fully exhale your cigarette out. And you can hear my voice, and smoking's cool, kids.
Very cool.
Very cool.
No, that's not true. You're on to just the candy cigars now, right?
And vapes. Bro.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah, getting an ear tattoo next week. Yeah.
What, one teardrop?
No, an M.
Oh, to go. Yeah,
So
no.
I'm gonna get a monster M.
That's a good one.
My fucking ear.
That's what you need.
Yeah, dude.
That I think is the main thing missing from your life right now is just a big half down your ear, coming down your neck into your collar tattoo.
Yeah.
And hey,
because then I look cooler at funerals.
That's really where it stands out,
yeah,
man.
exactly.
The guy
in
with
job interviews,
the guy with gauges at a funeral. It's just never a good look. The dude with gauges and like a dagger tattoo on his face. But
it only looks. I mean, once you're like in Blink 182 long enough, you pull that look off.
Blink 182 reference.
But that's a 90s reference.
90s
kids.
reference there. But so we come back to Hawkins, and we are granted access again to this small town where apparently nothing happens, and yet there are a couple people who are aware that there is this other dimension. They call it the Upside Down, and there's demons, monsters, and a continuing drama between a little boy, Will Byers, his mother, played by Winona Ryder, who is actually, I liked her in this season a lot more than I liked her last season.
Yes.
And she's doing well now. She's got a boyfriend, and I thought it's really cool to see Sean Astin just like popping in there.
Bob
the Brain, man. And the evil scientist group from first season has kind of gone away and been replaced by, like, they still have an agenda, but they seem to be a little bit less evil about it.
I think they had to change their tact.
Yeah, and Paul Reiser is the leader of that group, and it's pretty cool.
So let me ask a question. Do we know what are PSYOP scientists doing that they crack open a gate? That's from the people they're researching.
11 did that.
She cracks a gate open.
She cracks the gate open in season 1. Yeah. Yeah, while trying to make contact. Yeah.
So that Upside Down is there when she breaks it open.
Yeah.
So what is the Upside Down?
Just a other dimension. It's just like our dimension, only something's weird there, and it's
but like there's all bad shit there.
There's all bad shit there. It's a like kind of a mirror image of our world, but everything's grown over.
Well, I mean, I know that. I think you're being because
you don't
nice
remember.
To me.
You don't remember.
I just
that
I'm wondering
11,
like actually like so.
Seems to be missing a key part of
you said demons, and I'm like,
They're not demons. They're
like bad goopy stuff.
Yeah.
That has
they're creatures.
Thing. And
but I mean,
I guess that's where you just accept that, right?
Yeah. But I mean, like, what are demons? Demons are, I mean,
they're soldiers from hell.
No. But what's hell? Hell's another dimension.
With a point, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So this thing's just there, cracked open.
Yeah. And hanging out and, taking people like Barb from the first season.
Taking a lot of people. There should be more missing persons signs.
There
up in
should
this
be,
town.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. But no, because actually it's like soldiers and stuff that get toasted. But Will, the boy,
we got a little taste at the end of last season that things were not okay with him. He spits up a
real taste, a hockaloogie taste.
I mean, one wonders if a child would keep that secret for as long as he did.
Sir Ivan Hockaloogie.
So, it's related to Mary Wolfenstein Shelley. Now, yeah, so Will Byers hawks up a tadpole. It goes down the drain. This season, it is apparently now morphed into a cute, cuddly little pollywog thing. Mm-hmm. Not very cuddly. That then, over the course of a couple episodes, it befriends the one kid, Dustin, who is, I think, probably my favorite of the group. Like, I love that kid.
Got a little volume too much on him, I think.
A little too much? You thought they kind of went into him too much? A little bit?
I didn't believe that he would do I didn't believe he'd act that way.
I had a tough time with that. It was sort of one of those, why are you doing this
He
moments.
seemed more loyal to the group.
Yeah.
He ends up hiding that pollywog when he finds it.
Mm-hmm.
Even after, to a passive point of irresponsibility.
Even after it's probably apparent. It's probably apparent that it's dangerous. Like, even after that, he's doing funny things. Yet
I think
he had
enough love going on in his group from the first season. I didn't think he needed to be acting out.
Right. Yeah, I'd agree with that. It felt out of place. So this creature who he calls Dart, he named it after one of the Three Musketeers, and it grows into. In the first season, we had a Demogorgon, and it grows into a Demidog, basically. This little creature.
Which, by the way, annoying that they were doggy-like to me.
Not as scary. That was was one thing.
Just kind of like zoo animals out.
Now, here's the thing, though. We're, and again, spoiler alert, we're clearly going to spoil these. We're treated to a scene in which we find out, oh my gosh, there's like dozens of these fucking things. Were these like all loogies that Will hawked up? That was never clear to me.
I didn't think that the loogie was the seed of the demidogs.
Oh, no, it must have been, because he has a flashback when he's looking at it. He's looking at Dart,
I saw the flashback. I just thought that was kind of associative shit. Oh, he flashes.
He flashes back to hawking it up and it going down the drain. So I'm like, over the course of the last year, has Will Byers been going into the bathroom every morning and just going?
Well, he did get intubated by a whatever.
But that's a lot.
Of a weird root.
That's a lot to keep to yourself, man. That kid is carrying a burden. It's no wonder he's so freaky looking. And that's another thing we got. Will has clearly still got a connection to this other dimension. He is kind of flashing in between our reality and that reality.
Yep.
And there is a kind of big bad and ultimate creature there that they nickname the Mind Flayer after a Dungeons and Dragons character.
That comes late in the episode. It's a smoke monster.
It's a big spidery smoke monster.
There's a statue in LACMA, by the way, that's called Smoke, and it's a big black thing with giant legs like that, and it reminds me of every time I saw it.
Oh, cool. Something to look for, people, the next time you're at LACMA and you're not stoned. Who doesn't go stoned to LACMA?
I know, dude.
But
art students don't.
Right.
Because they're taking notes.
Right.
Taking notes.
Yeah. This creature uses Will as a host, and lots of different machinations come out of this. Then basically we find out that there's a hive mind controlling all these creatures. 11 enters the picture again. Oh my gosh, she's not dead. She's been living with the sheriff this whole time. There's a whole lot of story in this season, And basically it boils down to like all the characters, we get a little bit more out of each of them. We get introduced to some new characters. And some stand out, some kind of fade into the background. Like I really didn't think that Hopper this season had a whole lot going on, the Chief.
No.
I thought that Steve Harrington was the best thing that this show has ever produced.
He was awesome.
He was friggin' great.
Cool.
Steve is the teenage boyfriend character, and he went from last season like being a douchebag to end of the season sort of redeeming himself to this season now just being a superhero. You know?
Yeah.
And so all of this adds up to like what? You know? What? It was I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I don't regret having watched it.
But, listener, ask yourself this. Do you want season 3 to come sooner?
Yeah.
Is this now just a show? One of many that you love, that you will put in your mind, and it will fade. What happened if Stranger Things never went to season 2?
And not only that, like, if this came out and you watched this show in a weekend, you know, and that's it, you just said, oh, I can't wait, October 17th, boom, or whatever the fuck it came out, and you watched it in 2 days, and you were just like, that was great, like, give yourself some distance from that experience of just, like, binge watching all of it, and kind of go back and, like, look at, because by and large, it was, yeah, I enjoyed it, but it really didn't add any new ideas to the whole Stranger Things mythology. And when it did attempt to do so, it kind of sucked. This is, if you want this, listener, you can have it. But you got a group of people who are going to get in some peril. Right. And then they're going to overcome. Yeah. And if that's what you want to see, cool. I watched that on every episode of Teen Titans I watch with my boy. It's funny and cute. They learn a little, and they screw some shit up, and they get through. There are no stakes in this. Yeah, and that's pretty much. And it may feel that way in certain times, but
never. The
Duffer Brothers actually they described this as season 1 bigger. Like that's the credo they went into season 2 with, and we got that. We got like stuff that seemed a little too familiar. When Joyce, Will's mom, is like getting the piece of paper and drawing the smoke monster on the TV. And then going and comparing it, I was just sort of like, okay. And when he is sketching the vines endlessly and throwing them all over the place, and they're just like, I was like, all right, so this is pretty much like the lights from season 1 that she's hanging all over the house. And all of a sudden, I'm going, oh my god, I'm watching Home Alone 2, which is the same movie as Home Alone.
So I mean, just what if they didn't figure out the puzzle? Wouldn't it have been cool to see them throw a code out there but not pull it off? I mean, and that's the things that I don't have experience with. I don't know what it means to have a show that was totally loved and then get to write a second season.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
And the pressure that comes with that, and the inability to meet expectations. But like, think for a second if like you end season 2 and 11 can't close that gate. And this thing's now on Earth, and that's it. Season 2 ends. And season 3 is now going to be war or something like that. Like, being bold enough to take, like, that direction. That would be interesting, as opposed to, hey, we all learned a little bit about each other, and she's with this guy now, and we've got this girl, and now let's go to the dance, and we're all still friends and everything.
Well, and so...
And again, not to say, like... it was wholesome, and I loved it, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Like, I did.
Yeah. I mean, I was at dances with that Cyndi Lauper song playing.
Nice.
Straight up.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I am forgetting what I was saying.
I just did that to you. Must have been really good.
Yeah.
You want to talk about?
Where were you?
Talk about fucking Chicago?
Fucking Chicago. Yeah.
So that's the new thing.
The one episode
that's the new thing they bring to the table is that 11 is not the only byproduct of this this experiment. We're treated to a English accented gal who goes by the name of. She doesn't go by the name. She's got an actual name. I don't remember any of their fucking names. I know there was like Bad Punk. There was Girl Who Laughs. Gum Chewer. Yeah, 80s Gum Chewer. There was Worried African American. There was Big Teddy Bear Guy, who I actually liked. And she's got similar powers. She can create things with her mind. Mm-hmm. And they spend one episode. Now, my, I guess concern is not the right word, but I think that's where we're going for season 3. It's going to be like...
That shit sucked.
It sucked!
So I couldn't... Okay, so first... Apparently, they're chasing down people who've done bad. Now, was there anything... Did I miss anything about how the people other than the one with... mind powers? Did they have mind powers?
No.
Were they wronged by people in the same organization?
No, I did not.
So what the fuck's going on here?
I mean, the moment I saw the dude's mohawk and the acting was the level that it was at in that episode, I think that might have been one where I was looking more down at my sketch pad than I was at like the TV screen.
I didn't finish that one.
You didn't finish that one?
I walked away and read
great.
Alistair Reynolds.
Good. Yes, you should have, Kevin. I really didn't understand how they found the guy, and that was their mission. Their mission was that they were seeking out people who'd done wrong, because I thought they were just robbing banks and shit. She, Mind Power 2, number 8. Yeah.
She had pictures of people from that organization, and they were going and picking them off. Getting them back.
Well,
for hurting people.
She just assembled a ragtag group of 1980s fucking Blade Runner rejects.
That was like someone had a stroke and let that through as an episode.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and appropriately so. It's left to the confines of that episode. You know, like 11 just pops in, has a little experience, gets a cool hairdo, and then pieces out at the end.
Even the episode before, where they just have to rescue the cop from the underground part.
Yeah.
And that one I kind of felt standing alone, because that I like what do they call it in X-Files when they go chase a
bottle episode, or you mean
when they go chase a B-man or something. It's not one that's in the story.
Oh, it's not a.
It's just where they
standalone or
yeah, but what you don't, George? Isn't there a name for that? There's you've said
there's a name for it.
Yeah,
Monster of the Week.
Monster of the Week.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. God.
Yeah. Anytime, Kevin.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for, man. You know, when you falter, I'm here behind you, grabbing your ass, just holding you up there, man. So, fucking bad, fake ass Chicago punks, man.
That's just what you do.
And I got to a certain point with the show where I was just kind of like, I anticipated where this was kind of all going. It's going to be kind of a happy ending. I knew who the disposable characters were going to be. And was sad to see him go, because I really, really actually liked him. I thought he was one of the standouts.
Bob the Brain?
Bob the Brain, man.
So when did you know he was disposable?
When he was more than just background, when he started getting much more involved.
So that's when, in our home, we thought maybe he was actually working for the government.
Oh,
Did
nice.
you think that?
No, I didn't think that at any point. Because the government seemed much less malicious in this one. Like,
well, it doesn't mean they wouldn't have infiltrators.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they did not seem to be doing the same things. Like Paul Reiser, at no point did I ever think... I thought he was hiding stuff, and he was trying to correct some mistakes done in the past. And it's one of the reasons I actually felt like the whole storyline with the sister and the really tired-looking brother, who... the other Byers, Will Byers' older brother, Jonathan. Them teaming up with the conspiracy theorist guy.
That was cool.
And everything. I didn't like that. I thought that whole plot was just kind of like...
I think I liked him. I like conspiracy theory guy.
I liked him. I like that actor, too. He's great.
So there's a lot, and a lot to talk about. Most people enjoyed it. We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. But we're here to ruin things for you. Essentially, yeah.
Well, we realize that it's a good episode when we really try to not like something.
And so this episode's going to be great.
It's going to be fantastic.
I can't wait for you guys to write reviews of it on iTunes or... Send bags of cash.
Call us some idiots. Well, send more bags of cash. We're already getting bags of cash.
Yeah.
And Christmas is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. It's hard for us. We are, this is our job. Gotta be thankful for that.
Gotta get myself one of them Stranger Things 1 VHS box sets. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So there is places that quartets of kids go in stuff that's been done in the 21st century, and this group made me think of The Magicians by Lev Grossman. And this gang, instead of being middle schoolers, you have some that are together in middle school, but you have a trilogy of books about kids who go to a Narnia-esque place through a magic college, and a core group of friends gets fragmented, and shit happens to them. And at no point did I think that this would happen in Stranger Things.
Bad shit.
Not yet, yeah. And
like
more interesting,
kids dying.
I read that trilogy due to whatever Lev Grossman was doing. I read those 3 books in the month of January this year, 2017, and finished it quick because by mid-January, I began Revelation Space with Alistair Reynolds. Listener, I'm about to finish. I have 1.5 novellas left. All Revelation Space.
Wow.
So cool.
That
George,
is an
when
ever
you learn
will
to
be.
read, when you learn to read,
This
dude,
rate.
you are going to love those books. You know what?
What's
What's that thing you do where someone reads it to you?
Oh, the audiobook.
Audiobook.
I got no time, man. I got Stranger Things 3.
Is that reading? Is that reading? Do you call it reading, or do people say it's listening now?
People say it's listening.
I've
had this conversation with other people before. Like I have a friend who's a librarian who says she considers it reading because you're still absorbing the information and you've still got the story.
Which, like, if you look up reading, though,
it's probably not the classical definition.
Key phrase: look up.
Look up. So that means you need to
eyes.
read. You need to read the definition for reading. You ignorant fuck. So what you're saying basically is these kids, these 4 kids.
This is the thought before we went to the dance.
Yeah.
These 4 kids were darlings in the real world. We love them. I mean, like, at the grocery store, reading the cover of the magazines, loved them.
We all know a Dustin.
And it was cute and
maybe we were
successful. And we love that these kids got to be actors. We love that this troupe of actors could get along so well, and it itself might just be the reason why the gods of Stranger Things don't have the heart to kill one of them.
Interesting.
Which I think it has. I think it's the whole problem.
So when you say I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
Well, the gods. There is whoever wrote The Wire.
Yeah.
Talked about the gods of The Wire in an interview once, and those gods were real gods, cruel gods, and people you really liked got iced on that show. Mm-hmm. Did you see this show yet?
The Wire?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there were people we really liked.
Amazingly, like, you know,
and they got iced.
Yeah.
And the gods of The Wire worked a little bit more like gods do.
Yeah.
And they talked about how that was hard, but pushed the show along in a way. And I mean, why did Will have to live? Because I got to feel good. I mean, just like the puzzle with the lights, and then the Morse code puzzle, they figured themselves out of like 6 totally fucked scenarios, and they exercise a metaphysical powerhouse apex monster by turning the heat on it that it doesn't like in the host. Yeah. Cool idea, hard to believe. And you know, I don't want blood.
No.
But I guess what I do on is maybe I'm supposed to feel good and enjoy this. But I mean, how are they going to do it? Once again, it reminds me of comic books. Mm-hmm. And I know people start dying in comic books, but when I was watching the Justice League, they made it through the episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was, a kid watching that stuff.
Yeah,
and the gang makes it through. You know, like my Teen Titans example I tried to make.
Sure. And what which is a badass when you show. Say I don't want blood, I'm with you on that. And I love this idea of like
for blood's sake. I don't want blood for blood's sake.
Yes, of course.
I want the gods of this world to be able to do what they should do.
The gods of the gods of Stranger Things, the gods of The Wire, you know, and their cruel gods. The gods of Game of Thrones, you know, the gods of the gods that do the things that are maybe harsh, that need to move the story along in a satisfying direction, even if the viewer doesn't want that to fucking happen. You know, I remember the first season of Game of Thrones when a character died that you, in no way, shape, or form, you were like introduced to the show and you're like, this show is going to ride on this guy. And all of a sudden he's dead. People were pissed. People were outraged. Fans were talking about boycotting the show. They didn't. Went on to become one of the best fucking shows in HBO history. And it reminds me of, did you see Cabin in the Woods?
No.
All right. So Cabin in the Woods, basic setup is there's this group of scientists and they put these 4 teenagers in a cabin in the woods and recreate basically a classic horror movie scenario.
I recall.
To appease
our fans on the fan page.
Yes.
They have a threaded chat.
How many times
about how many times when we talk about Cabin in the Woods, and they all know that Kevin's never seen it. Guys, I'm never gonna watch it. So, just for you, go Kevin.
But no, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. The whole thing is you have to kill these people. It's an athlete. It's a whore. It's a jester. It's a virgin. You have to kill these people in a certain order to appease the gods. Now, the gods are a metaphor for us, the viewers, because the viewers want things in science fiction, in fantasy, in horror. They want things a certain way, even if they say, we want things new and fresh and different. The moment you do something that's too fresh and too new and too different, they're like, what the fuck? You killed Will Byers? Oh, the hell with Stranger Things Season 3. You know? So, like, yeah, when I say I would have loved Season 2 to end and all of a sudden Will is, if not dead, maybe he's just disappeared. Maybe Steve is dead, and Season 3, it's like, here's the war now. Like the Upside Down is invading Earth. Like, how fresh and cool would that have been? You know, and
maybe
and
you know how I feel about all out wars, but I don't know.
Whatever it is, just not such a friggin' apple pie crust way to go out on another season. You know, like,
yeah.
Because right now I'm just like, I don't want to see these guys again. I don't want to see this town again.
Well, I'm afraid that I'm going to see them be less
We already
what they
have.
were.
That's the thing.
I
We got
think
more of
we
it.
can walk.
Yeah.
We got more.
Yeah.
We got bigger. This is going to blow your mind here. Is it realism to have the gods of a show kill a character?
Interesting. Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
No. Hey.
You know, like you speak about like this hand that can just stir the water, and then there's a hurricane.
Yeah.
You know, but
I get that image of like the old
is
Bugs
that
Bunny
what it
cartoon
means?
when like Mel Blanc's when Chuck Jones's pencil used to come in and
Yeah.
erase things and everything.
I always see the Zeus in like Clash of the
Yeah.
Titans or Jason the Argonauts or something, just looking in that pool.
Yeah, that's cool.
what I always
That's
see.
cool, man. You know, and hey, they gave us a decent Bob the Brain death. Gets ripped to pieces. They did not let that one go quietly either. Like he was torn apart by Demodogs.
Which and so there this stacks on to what I'm talking about. I mean, we're sacrificing good characters. I mean, what a great warrior he would have been if the next one's upside down apocalypse, right?
Sure.
But since he's gone, we got our same darlings, and it's like adventure time.
Yeah, that's what.
Let's have another adventure. And I guess, like I said, that's fine.
That's fine.
It's not making me want to come back. No, who knows? Guess what we're gonna have to do now? It'll be another Stranger Things episode at some point.
At some point.
We'll be there. Just like we're definitely doing Ready Player One.
Like it's a
bagging on that shit. It's gonna be greatest episode ever.
That's gonna be like the first one that we have done the book first and then the movie.
Yeah.
Years later.
George C. Reading, that's back when you...
That was back when I actually picked him up.
That was before the syphilis that ate the executive function out of the... Yeah.
The syphilis chewed out the eyes. All right, and that's why I can no longer see. I can see this season of Stranger Things as another Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And be cool with it in that way. You know, like it's another, we had the group, they went on their quest. They learned what they needed to learn. They got their prize, and let's go on. I hope next time around. I mean, it's already been confirmed that there's going to be a season 3.
Yeah.
I hope next time around they shake it up a bit. Because in the moment, it's pretty fucking satisfying. It's when I give it some distance and I think about it a little bit more critically. Which is tough to do if these shows are built to be watched in 2 or 3 days,
Yeah.
And it's tough to do in that time is to like kind of step back and go, well, why did that happen? Or why exactly did, if you enjoyed it, and that's awesome. We'll probably see you again on Stranger Things 3 episode.
Can you get a Stranger Things t-shirt at a Target yet?
Oh man, if not, I mean they're all over the place, though. You can.
Yeah. Do you have one?
No.
All right.
No,
now I know what to get you for Christmas.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Stranger Things shirt, huh?
Yeah. Socks.
You think that little of me?
I
do it 11 style. Like where do you go with that?
You do it Demi Doggy style, dude.
I've seen nice.
Demi Doggy style.
I've seen the Risky Business poster, only with Steve pulling down the glasses. Mm-hmm. It says the babysitter on it. That's pretty good. Yeah, you can get me one of those. Yeah, I'll take that.
Cool.
I will gladly wear a T-shirt with Steve Harrington's face on it, man. I thought just great stuff they did.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because it was just something.
It was a cool standout. Like
even Paul, I liked seeing Paul Reiser pop up.
Me too.
Somehow.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah. So George.
Yeah.
The next episode, we will have. What's the next Star Wars called?
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Careful.
Would I?
Careful, man.
Would I?
Now here's the funny thing. Jedi, we don't know. Jedi can be both singular or plural, right? So
I'm thinking that's singular.
The Last Jedi. Man, my head is starting to hurt right now.
The Jedi Knights.
It's the wound. But the
well,
the Jedi, it can be like, all right, that's Luke. Luke is the last Jedi. Right?
Yes.
Or it could be a reference to like Luke, Rey. Maybe there's more Jedi. I don't know. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this, man.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun.
It's gonna be a good time.
And you're saying that we did not discuss The Force Awakens.
We did not. We talked about
Was
Rogue
I one
One.
of the protesters? I remember liking it.
You liked it.
Didn't we talk about that I liked it?
We talked about it briefly, and we said that we were not going to discuss it.
Oh, because Star Wars isn't sci-fi?
Because there are some people who feel like Star Wars is not sci-fi. Star Wars is sci-fi. First of all, if Stranger Things is sci-fi...
Star Wars is sci-fi.
You know, then Star Wars is certainly sci-fi. I'm even back... Like, Stranger Things is a little bit more horror than sci-fi.
Well, totally.
Yeah.
But we've been bloody.
We've been bloody, man.
Yeah.
We've been ripping things apart here. What have we been doing?
Face eating. I don't know. And so we're both gonna. Well, one of us is gonna read *The Wizards of Earthsea* by Ursula K. Le Guin,
and
one of us is gonna listen to it.
Yeah. By Ursula K. Le Guin.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's all over the place now, man.
So we got a lot of riveting stuff up. Listener, Ursula K. Le Guin. That's a book you could read.
You can read that one.
You can actually listen to it too, and maybe be in on it with us. It's fantasy.
Yeah,
we're not afraid to go there.
Lev
Grossman, The Magicians, fantasy. That stuff is amazing.
I picked up the first. I downloaded on Audible with one of my credits.
It is different.
It is different.
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't pick it up. I don't physically have it. Smell the dust. You know, the ripeness of the last person who read it in there. Their grubby little fingers all over there.
Booger in the LA Public Library book.
Nice little booger collection on the back of that Terry Pratchett
novel.
You ever
wonder, just some naked nerd with his stinker tapping on the cover of the book, reading it, and then you get it out of the library.
Bouncing between the first book of
like
Discworld.
Like Egg Foo Young.
And the internet. He's on
with a stock that stands up.
Pornhub with one hand, Terry Pratchett with the other. Just a crust of Cheetos around his lips. And he's licking them and just little orange flakes are flying on those beautiful science fiction words.
I hope Ursula K. Le Guin brings it. I've never read anything by her.
Wow.
But,
I don't know, I've heard good things. Your wife, she told me about her.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
That happens.
We should have her on the show.
I thought there was a strict no wives policy.
Oh, no. I meant Ursula.
How can you let...
I meant Ursula Quinn.
Oh, yeah. Is she living?
Yeah, she just wrote a new, what's it,
book?
Yeah, it's a, not realistic, but it's a modern breakdown of the Taoist scriptures.
Fiction?
No, she's a loon. In a good way.
A loon.
A loon in a good way. Like she's crazy spiritual.
Okay.
I might be thinking of someone entirely different. Maybe I'm thinking of Oprah Winfrey.
That would be rad.
Wouldn't that be great?
Would that be rad? No.
No.
The Tao of Oprah.
Oprah Winfrey's a brilliant sci-fi writer.
The
Dopra Chopra. What?
It's gone. It's gone. Gone. Email us, listener.
Oh, right.
Review us. Rate us. What's our email address again?
bddsci-fi@gmail.com. And you can find us online at bddsci-fi.com. Follow us on Instagram at bddsci-fi, or follow us on Twitter at, wait for it, bddsci-fi.
Sci-fi.
That stands for Busy Dads Do Sci-Fi, which is the actual name of the podcast.
Yes.
Busy Dads Do Sci-Fi, because we're dads, we're busy, and we do sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't drive like my brother.
What?
No?
No. Is that a Stranger Things reference?
No! That was I was trying to end it like car talk. No?
No, because we're the car talk.
We are the car talk of science fiction. Do the laugh, right?
Can't you? I'm so drunk. One of them's dead.